My name is Tyler Takeshi Wallace, and I am a grade 12 STEM student. Next year, I'll be going to Langara College for General Sciences with hopes to transfer into environmental sciences in the future. I've been in the STEM program for 5 years now, and last year, I got the incredible opportunity to be one of the two first ever high school-aged interns to work at SAP. Now, for those of you who don't know, SAP is a software development company that specializes in business operations, customer relations, and enterprise resource planning software. So basically, SAP creates software to make business management more easy. SAP is also the beloved sponsor of the STEM program here at Templeton. And for years, they've been providing us with meaningful support and funding alongside their mentorship program, which brings SAP mentors into STEM classes to teach us all about 21st century skills, which is what I'm going to be doing today as well. But before I go into that, I want to talk a little bit about my internship and the work I did last summer. As I mentioned before, I was one of the two high school students to work at SAP, the other being Danielle Pebres, who is another STEM student from Templeton. And this was actually the first time any high school student had worked as an intern at SAP. It was really special to be a part of, and it was only possible because of the relationship that is shared between STEM and SAP. The two of us were stationed at the SAP Vancouver office, which is in Yaletown. And in that office, we were put on our own team called the Cloud Engineering Platform. On the team, there was a team lead and who acted as a mentor for us. And that mentor really helped us throughout the internship on our project and helped us gain our footing during the first couple of days and really just gave us a great taste of what working in a real office environment was like, which was obviously something that neither of us had ever experienced before at 16 years old. We also worked very closely with SAP IXP, or their Internship Experience Project, which is a mentorship program that brings interns from a bunch of different SAP offices around North America into weekly phone calls to talk to SAP mentors who teach us all about 21st century skills and how to apply them in the real world. Not only was this a great chance for us to talk to these mentors and learn a lot from them, we also got a chance to talk to the other interns who were older than us and in college or university normally, and they were in similar situations as us. They were trying to figure out what they wanted to do in their lives and how to get there. So they really helped us with and gave us a lot of words of wisdom and advice, and it was overall a great learning experience. We also, on top of that, worked on a project at the SAP Vancouver office called the Employee Engagement Project. And our job was to develop a system that would measure the effectiveness of events that were held at SAP Vancouver. It was a lot of work related to software, survey building software and spreadsheets and data analysis, and it was overall a really fun and unique project and experience. So I've thrown around the term 21st century skills a couple times, so I think it's about time I go into depth about what they really mean. By definition, a 21st century skill is a skill or a core competency that is believed to be required to thrive in the working world of today. There's a lot of 21st century skills out there. Mostly, the most common are known as the 4 C's: collaboration, communication, creativity, and critical thinking. There's other ones like being able to organize yourself and plan ahead for things, and a lot of others as well. And I personally believe that these 21st century skills, also known as soft skills, are more important than what are known as hard skills, or skills related to your field of work, whether that's physics or business or computer science or whatever you work in. And I'm going to use myself as an example as to why I think that. I've been in the STEM program for 5 years. As many of you know by now, the STEM program is a project-based learning program that brings students together into groups to work on problems and projects related to the 4 STEM fields: science, technology, engineering, and math. What not everybody knows is that while these students work on these projects together in groups, they also learn a lot of 21st century skills as well, like collaboration, creativity, critical thinking, and so much more. And that's what I realized when I was asked to go work at SAP for the summer, because I knew that I didn't have any of the hard skills that I would need to work there, like work with survey building software or data analysis or spreadsheets, because I was 16 years old and I had never done that before. But I knew that I was going to have to transfer the skills that I had learned from STEM to my work at SAP. And it made the transfer from a student to intern a lot easier and much more smooth. I was actually pretty surprised to find at the beginning of the internship at SAP, it's not just an office building that's 3 floors full of hundreds of cubicles and people working at their keyboards all day. Of course, there's a little bit of that because it's a software development company, but I was also really surprised to see that there was probably near 100 different workspaces or meeting rooms, and they were all varying in size and different materials available, like whiteboards, smart boards, and even walls that you could write on. It was a lot of fun to work with. And the purpose of these rooms was so that employees could come together in groups and work together and work on their problems and plan out their projects. It may sound familiar because that's exactly what STEM is, and it's what it trains their students for. So it was really great being able to transfer these 21st century skills that I had learned from STEM to my work at SAP, especially during the beginning planning phases of the project, applying these critical thinking, creativity, organization skills, and so much more. Of course, during my time at SAP, I learned all the hard skills as well that I mentioned before, but these soft skills are really what were improved upon, and what I realized was that these skills are applicable anywhere. The learnings that I've gotten from STEM and SAP, I'll be able to apply wherever I end up in the future, whether that's as a student in a learning environment or as an employee in a working environment. And I think that's really valuable. So to conclude, I want to just say that I truly believe that these 21st century skills are very important to go into the working world today. And unfortunately, not all high school courses teach these skills, with STEM being a big exception. This is just for me personally, of course, but I didn't learn a whole lot of 21st century skills sitting in an English class. Of course, that's just for me, but I found that it was the mentorships that I received from STEM and from SAP that really helped me realize what I needed to know to do well in a working world and a working environment. And I think that's really important. I also think it's a good representation of the STEM motto, to fail fast and fail forward, because I'm not a perfect straight A student, and I never was, but I'm a worker who's ready to get out of their comfort zone to learn something, someone who's ready to fall down and get back up to learn something new. And I think that's what STEM is all about, being able to make mistakes, recognize that, reflect on yourself, learn from your experiences, and then applying those learnings to whatever situation you're thrown into next. And repeating that cycle a lot of times will actually build up an arsenal of 21st century skills that can be applied anywhere, which I think is really valuable. So to answer the question that is asked a lot in high school, when am I ever going to use this skill? I've actually found myself asking this question a couple times throughout my high school career in other classes, but never while in STEM, because I know that these skills are transferable. So I know that it doesn't even matter if I don't go into a STEM field or not. And honestly, I don't know where I'll be in 5, 10, 15 years. But these teachings are going to be applicable for the rest of my working life, no matter where I end up. These skills are more important to students now than ever before. They not only set students up for successful learning, but they set them up to work successfully in a world that is constantly changing and requires constant learning as well. Believe it or not, we're living in the 21st century, and it's different than the last one. The world of today is constantly changing with new technologies, sciences, industries, and everything in between being developed and redeveloped every year. It only makes sense to prepare students for how to deal with these changes, how to adapt, and how to learn from them. In life, we're not always given control of the steering wheel. Take this curveball that we've been thrown in 2020. Nobody could have seen this pandemic coming. But as a society, we've adapted and we've come together to learn something new and survive. These are the skills that we're not only going to need today, but they're the skills that we're going to need when everything is completely different tomorrow and for the rest of our lives. Thank you.